top charts this morning, we got to visit NVIDIA. That's AJRD is looking at NVIDIA, NVDA. All right, so yesterday we were discussing this one. NVIDIA's in bullish territory. I can't believe it, but it did finally claim this 245 level here. So it is in bullish territory. Here's the caveat. Again, sometimes you have the perfect storm where you have a nice volume node here developing. Yes, NVIDIA is making nice bullish tracks. We still got to get this volume to be kicked in. If we do lose face here, remember, this is a thin zone and this thing can crash hard. But if you already long it, I would say there's no reason to sell it at this point. Next up, we're going to go to Jeff in Texas begging me. I saw you a pre-market, J&J. All right, so J&J, if you are bullish, you want this thing to move above the 21-day moving average. I know that sounds really simple. You do have a nice volume node here. We have to get above that and the 21-day moving average. We have a good thin zone up to 161, but we got to break that because that is being used as a resistance. Now, here is the bipolar chart, and that's in Schwab, all right? So Schwab keeps hitting resistance at its point of control. And this wasn't a gap down. These are clear candlesticks that create a big thin zone, and your point of control now pushed to the bottom. That is bearish. However, while we continue to use this as a resistance, here's the trade. If you want to be long the banks, have Schwab get over 59.50 and I go long. This thing is going to go crazy to the upside, back to the 200-day moving average. Until then, we're going to continue to feel that resistance here in Schwab, which is why we couldn't regain and why we had a red day yesterday. It's because of that point of control, people. So we're going to bring in Mark Sebastian. Mark, it's kind of a mixed bag here because a lot of these stocks NVIDIA is the only one that's looking purely bullish right now. You just have to be careful because if we start to have a market sell-off, it's going to pull NVIDIA down with it. We need Schwab to make moves higher, and we need J&J to do it as well to claim those technical barriers.
Yeah, and Schwab is up a couple of bucks today. What'd you say, 59.50? Trading about 58.50 right now, so it needs a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we get a little push higher, like you said, this thing could take off. There's some serious upside there. I set up a relatively inexpensive bull call spread in Schwab for Profit Revolution. Okay. I like it to move higher by April. I don't think they've got some of the problems that PacWest does.
Right.
So that's an interesting one. J&J, NVIDIA is a big stay away from how, based on how, in my opinion, how far it's moved. J&J is up another buck this morning. Could be an interesting one. Where's your upside on J&J if it can break out?
J&J 161.
I mean, the implied volatility, this little, you're going to see money flow out of the queues and into staples, into banks. If the crisis is averted, with the stock trading, you could take a cheap shot at it and buy like some 157.5 calls for 60 cents that expire a week from Friday. I don't love the trade. There is these three, sometimes you just don't get anything that's beautiful. I think Schwab is probably your best play. I already have one in Profit Revolution, so I'm not giving that one away.
All right, that is fair. Keep that behind the velvet ropes. But Schwab, Profit Revolution, already jumping in on that one. I'd like to see it pop above that point of control, and this thing will take off. So you can wait for this trade. Now, Mark, we have some big money that is not waiting for a trade in Oxy. So what are you seeing? Where's the big money jumping?
Yeah, this one actually really caught me by surprise. Because you don't think, when you think like high beta, crazy move stocks, you typically don't think Occidental Petroleum. But that said, these oil names will move pretty big. So this was a print of 7,600, but on the day, 34,300 of these calls traded. They paid between 75 and 85 cents to buy the March 24th, so this Friday, 60 calls. So they're looking for a move higher in the very immediate. So they are looking for this thing to pop above 60, towards 61 by Friday, and maybe 62. So they're looking for a really strong move in Occidental. And this is one that I kind of jumped in a little bit yesterday when I started seeing this action over at Option Pit. I did a little trade with some of my members there, going along the March 31st 60 calls.
All right, so Mark, going along the March 31st 60 calls to jump in with that money flow. That's the March 31st
Yeah.
60 calls.